he vanished into the woods of Arizona. No body, no blood, no witnesses who could explain what they saw. Just a beam of light, a scream, and then nothing. 5 grown men drove back to town swearing their friend had been vaporized. They failed lie detectors. The police circled. The town turned feral. And for 5 days, Travis Walton did not exist.
Until he did. He came back confused, burned, starving, claiming he had been taken. Not by men, not by animals, but by something not from here. And here's the question we're going to keep coming back to tonight. What's more terrifying? That Travis Walton was abducted, or that he wasn't?
Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Fear Archive, the podcast where we dig into the creepiest corners of true crime, paranormal history, and horror films based on real-life nightmares. And yes, this is season 2. Bigger, stranger, sharper. Thank you to everyone who came back. And to the new listeners, buckle up. You picked a hell of an entry point.
This episode includes discussion of alleged alien abduction, psychological trauma, interrogation, public shaming, and bodily harm. We'll also be talking about memory, belief, and the social cost of being labeled impossible. Please take care while listening.
Consider this your official paranormal PG-18 warning. Tonight we're talking about one of the most famous and most contested UFO encounters in American history, and the movie that traumatized an entire generation of kids who absolutely should not have been watching HBO in the 90s. This is Fire in the Sky. This is Travis Walton. On November 5th, 1975, 22-year-old Travis Walton was working with a logging crew heading home from the Apache-Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona, a tiny Mormon-rooted town deep in the White Mountains where most people knew each other and gossip traveled fast. That night, the crew saw something unusual, a disc-like object, metallic and luminous, hovering just above the ground as if waiting. Walton got out of the truck and walked towards it, curious, maybe confused, as a high-pitched hum filled the air. Moments later, a beam of blue-green light shot from the object, striking him and knocking him across the clearing.
Terrified, Walton's crewmates fled, believing he was dead, and later returned to search when they realized he wasn't there. They searched desperately, yelling his name, but found nothing. By the next day, law enforcement was involved. Word spread quickly in the isolated towns of Snowflake and nearby Heber. Rumors spiraled from murder to cover-ups. Suspicion fell on Walton's own friends. Then 5 days later, Travis Walton made a collect call from a Heber phone booth. He was disoriented, in pain, and confused about how much time has passed.
His account was detailed but fragmentary. He said he regained consciousness inside a strange room, dimly lit with short, chalky white beings with large, expressive eyes that seemed to look into him and not at him. He described lights, silent communication, unfamiliar tools that gave me the creeps, and the presence of human-like figures in blue uniforms who escorted him to another space. Finally, he blacked out and woke up on the side of a road just outside of Heber as the craft departed.
The response was massive. Dogs, helicopters, law enforcement, and media descended on the forest. Locals were bewildered. In a place where everyone knew everyone, half the town didn't know what to believe. The event split the community. Some embraced the story. Others call it a hoax, a desperate attention grab. Even today, Heber Overguard markets its connection to UFO culture with alien art shops, murals, and the original phone booth displayed next to a tire shop, a shrine to what may be the most famous alleged abduction in American history. Travis and his crew took multiple lie detector tests, and all passed, which remains part of what gives believers confidence and the authenticity of events. But skeptics often retort that passing a polygraph doesn't prove truth. It just shows consistency under test conditions. Still, even debunkers acknowledge this is one of the most documented abduction incidents on record. In decades that followed, Walton and his story became a touchstone of UFO subculture. Controversial, debated, dissected, and retold in books, documentaries, and podcasts.
All right. So I can't get this out of my head. The image of the aliens in blue jumpsuits. It's like some kind of cosmic blue man group thing, but instead of drum and dance, it's like a clinical abduction with malfunctioning oxygen masks. But really, like, there was so much more. We didn't dear listeners, we didn't get into like the minutia of Walton's experience on the ship. It's super strange, and it's not as like visceral or like perverse as the movie made it out to be. It was, yeah. We'll get more into that in a moment, but yeah, it was what an experience, huh?
Yeah, I think researching this, I think the scariest part is how like mundane the whole thing was. There was nothing exciting or overly like pop off the page, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of just like a basic, yeah, I got taken. And then my life was okay after that.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I think this guy, I think that this guy was haunted for many years, and I think it's only recently that he's sort of come to terms with it. And I'm just saying, I'm saying this from accounts from friends who have met him. One of my friends, shout out to you, Joe, met him at the Pine Bush UFO Museum over here in upstate New York, and he was like, I if I ever had to say I met a haunted person before, it's Travis Walton. He just like looks like a haunted dude, and I'm like, can you describe a haunted dude? And he's like, Travis Walton. So he used the name to describe him. But I've actually heard that he's pretty chill. Like he goes to all the UFO conventions, like Contact in the Desert and all that stuff. And he apparently walks around at night with his acoustic guitar and plays like Neil Young songs. And I don't know, he's apparently very friendly.
Serenading the aliens to come back down for him.
He's at peace with it.
Just the whole thing. Ready? So he was 22. I think that's one thing that I keep going back to. Like, he was young. I mean, That's a young man. I mean, in the 70s, obviously, I think everyone was a little more like, start a family, buy a house in the 70s when you were 22. But it just seems very young to experience something like that and then live with it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder too, like who experienced more of the terror? I mean, granted, Travis Walton experienced terror. Whatever the hell he experienced, it was probably.
But he says he doesn't even remember a lot of it.
Right. It seems like the friends were the ones who were more traumatized from what happened. I mean, first of all, they were all almost facing murder charges. Like, they were getting pretty quickly railroaded for murdering him.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it seemed like that was the explanation. Like, you got drunk and killed your friend in the woods, or you buried the body amongst the ponderosa pines. I don't know.
And what did he have to gain from it? Right.
Right.
He was just a logger, right? And so that was his life. That was his job. He lived in like a logging town. Right? Am I?
Yeah. No. It's northern Arizona. It's northern Arizona. It's beautiful, tall. It is literally ponderosa pines, but like really beautiful, lush woods.
So, yeah, and so I think, like, for me, when I'm thinking about this, it's like, what do you have to gain from creating a hoax? What do you have to gain, truly? And then his recount of it was interesting because he saw the grays, right? He described the grays, which that, like, stuck with me. And then I should have done this a little earlier, but just to remind our listeners, I'll ask you again, and just ask you in our other alien episode, gremlin episode. Mike, do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, totally. I think our universe is too vast for us to be the only ones.
I do too. So everyone, when we're talking about this, like, I truly believe that we are not alone. I think it's small-minded to think we're the only things in this giant universe. Also recently, like this week, President Obama was on a podcast. Did you see that? And he admitted, he said aliens exist.
Yeah. In more ways,
like,
yeah.
Hell
in
yeah,
less words than not,
Mario.
yeah.
Hell yeah. So, okay, so with all that said, our truth is aliens exist. So what do you think in this story is like scarier? Is it like remembering like the pain, or remembering that you were abducted, or I don't know.
I think it's the lack of remembering anything and waking up somewhere where you have no recollection of how you got there. I don't want to say the cliche, the alien trope, right? Of the alien abduction trope, rather, of the missing time, right?
Yeah.
That is absolutely horrifying. Like, have you ever just like, there have been a couple points in my life where, I was exhausted or too drunk or whatever, and I just, passed out, and I woke up and I'm like, holy shit, what happened to the last, 7 hours? Very few times where that has actually happened. But could you imagine 5 days where you're like, I can't remember what
That's so
happened.
much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also how he woke up was like he was completely naked. Like he wasn't in the clothes he was taken in. Like he was naked and hot and cowering by an ice machine by a phone booth that, he called his I think it was his friend, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the polygraph tests. So I know they're not reliable.
No. And you could cheat them. You could cheat a polygraph.
They're not reliable today in modern time, but they weren't reliable in 1970s, right? And it's all like how the person administering the test interprets the information.
True.
But with that said, I think most of the friends that witnessed him being abducted passed the test. But let's make one thing clear. They passed the test. It wasn't, was he abducted? It was, did you murder him?
Right.
So, but they all passed the test.
Right.
So I wish I actually knew like all the questions they asked, because I want to know if they actually asked them about aliens on the test. But yeah, tell me what you think about it.
I mean, I actually, I watched a documentary. I can't remember if it's the Walton documentary. Like, it's literally called, I think it's Walton, the Travis Walton abduction story. It was, came out in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or it was just a random YouTube patched together montage of footage. But in one of them, they talked to the guy who administered the test, and he said that he wasn't like an expert at administering polygraph tests. He'd done them sorta in the past. So like,
this is the guy who actually administrated it?
Yeah. It was
in the 70s?
In the 70s. Yeah. He was, no older than them.
Well, I was thinking,
time,
if this is like a small town, I'm like, did y'all bring someone in to do this? Or are you just like getting like old Joe from the sheriff's office to carry it out?
That was pretty much what it was. And the deal with their stories was and maybe the more frightening aspect of it is how consistent they were every time they retold them. Nothing changed, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that there's, I err on the side of these guys are telling the truth when the story is so consistent. Because people, people usually continue to put tassels on the story every time they tell it if it's complete bullshit or if they're trying to cover their tracks. And I don't think these guys were lying. And I just think, if anything, maybe they were scared.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were scared.
I mean, who would lie when there's no like financial gain or like upside to it? That's what I don't understand. Like,
right. And, nobody became rich off this, not at that time, at least.
Yeah.
And I don't think Travis Walton even became
No.
rich off Fire in the Sky. In fact, he had a lot of problems with the film Fire in the Sky, which we're going to get to talking about in a moment, folks. But yeah, I mean, sure. Are they going to say whatever they need to say to get out of police custody? Probably, but I also think that they were telling the truth, and to be fair, what they were telling sounded ridiculous. Like, I'm sure that as they were saying it, they were like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna get the death penalty or something. They're gonna railroad us to something we didn't do."
I think the one question I want to ask Travis: why'd you get out of the truck? Why did you go? Why did you do that? Did you see anything in your research? Because I was just like, bro. What
curiosity. He just, I mean, look, I mean, he never, and maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention in any of the interviews, but like, that is a valid point. Maybe he was just curious. I know in the movie, I don't think they're drunk in the movie. I mean, the movie, they're just like driving home and they stop and they're like, Travis, get back in the truck.
Yeah.
And he's just like, first of all, by the way, in the movie,
Travis did not get back in the truck.
No. He got up in the air after that. Travis is played by, we'll get to this in a second, but he's played by the actor D.B. Sweeney, who looks like, I didn't realize this until today. I'm like, he looks remarkably like a young Paul Rudd, which was kind of hysterical. I was like, he looks like it from like one of the, Knocked Up or something. But actually, the movie has an insane cast of character actors. It's really solid. It's stacked. But it is kind of funny in the movie. They're just kind of like, Travis, get back here. And the movie's PG-13, so they can't say what they were probably really saying. Dumbass, get over here. In real life, they were probably like, you motherfucker, get back in the fucking truck. But yeah, then he's up in the air.
Get your dumbass back here.
Well, actually, so what I do remember reading in one of the accounts is that Travis was, when the light first came down from the ship, the beam, it was like an explosion on him, and they thought it killed him. And then he was sort of pulled up into it in that sort of levitating state. And I do know that Travis has come out, and I believe it's in the Travis documentary, the one entitled Walton, where he says that he believes that the aliens may have pulled him up because they were like, oh, fuck, we accidentally killed him, and that they fixed him. That was one of Travis's own theories, is that the aliens fixed him for either that or something inherently wrong with him, that's why they took him, was to save him. I saw that
too. And it's interesting, the reasoning of maybe they did kill him, because what if they did, roadkill. What if they did, because the guys also thought he was dead,
right?
And I feel like it's kind of you don't really mistaken a dead body for a live one. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Yeah. So in my opinion, it would seem like, for them to come to that conclusion, it would have had to be he's full of life, and then also bam, like limp.
Oh, totally.
And then like lifted up like that. And so I wonder, maybe he can't remember and account for all the time, because maybe they were trying to make him alive again and fix him. And then they didn't. They're like, shit, all right, let's get this motherfucker out of here.
Well, his account is
the shuttle. Let's get him out of here.
Yeah. Like, no, take his clothes. Anyway, so
let's get into the film. Let's hop into the film.
And here's the thing with the film. So I do think we should, and I'll save this for the connection, so I don't want to forget, like, Travis Walton's experience was more like trippy and weird, as opposed to like this horrific, gruesome experience. The movie is something completely different.
But here's the big point. The abduction sequence in the movie, the long, disturbing body horror style examination on the craft, is almost entirely Hollywood invention. Walton himself said that the real experience was more fragmentary and less cinematic than the on-screen terror.
In fact, the screenwriter and director, they altered the encounter significantly because executives thought that the real account wasn't dramatic enough for film. So it's a choice that makes the movie scarier than many actual reports from abductees. The film underperformed at the box office, but grew a cult legacy on cable and home video, partly because it refused to look pretty. It depicted alien contact as chaotic, alienating, and unfriendly, not mystical or benevolent, cutting against most of the sci-fi tropes at the time. So I do want to say one thing about this movie, a personal anecdote about seeing it. So this came out around the same time Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 was in the theater. And I remember like being so scared by the TV spots for Fire in the Sky, and I knew my mom wasn't going to let me see it. So I faked having to go to the bathroom during Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 and snuck into the theater for Fire in the Sky. And of course I walk in right at the moment that he's on the ship and they're putting like that big like giant dental dam over his friggin' head and his body.
Yeah.
And he's like, ah, and there's like the scalpel.
Let's run through like what happens in the movie, because like it's pretty one-for-one account, I would say, of what happened in real life. So up until we get to, we found Travis, and then he has this like flashback to what happened to him. Right?
Yeah.
And then so, and then, like you're saying, it gets like real visceral and real weird.
Oh yeah, it's like totally like it's like H.R. Geiger alien inspired derelict ship and like
Clockwork Orange type of shit. Like they're like prying his eye open. It's
you mean this?
Yeah. It's
Studio House Designs. Big ups.
It's giving OBGYN, right? So they're like prying him open. Not his butthole, guys. I know. I just like made it seem.
No,
like
he wasn't. He wasn't anally probed. No, he wasn't. That was Whitley Strieber. No, seriously.
But they basically put a needle through his eye, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
I screamed a little bit because it reminded me of like a lobotomy, a transorbital lobotomy, which terrifies me. And then, and his mouth, right? They like put like
they stuck a hose down his mouth, right?
Yeah, and it was.
But it's all like this, like biomechanical. Like the tools all look like they could maybe be alive.
This wasn't like a medical grade silicone, like rubber thick. It was like rough metal, and I'm like, oh my god, this poor man. I think when the scene first opens, when he's on the ship, though, he like rips open from like a sack.
Yeah. It's like an amniotic sack almost that they've been like storing him in. It's got all this slime in it that like I guess is like keeping him alive in the journey. I don't know. And
right?
You gotta wonder, were the Wachowskis, were they inspired by this scene when they were doing The Matrix?
I was thinking that too.
I was like, they're fans of this movie.
Yeah.
They're like sci-fi.
Well, it's aliens. Well,
yeah, totally.
But like, yeah. But anyway.
So,
that part of the movie, okay. That movie was edging me the whole time because I'm like, is this going to get exciting? Or are we just watching like
feels like a made-for-TV movie.
I'm like, all these white men just like arguing the whole movie. And then all of a sudden he comes back. And I'm like, well, fuck, thank God. Because it's been like
an hour. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm like, oh. It took me
here's the thing, though.
To get through it. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think the film is necessarily a bad film at all. It has lived in the brains of many, many people from our generation since they were little kids.
It's giving 1970s filmmaking.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. But the scariest part of the movie is literally like 20 minutes long. So that's kind of weird too, in a sense. I mean, everything else is very slow going though. It is very procedural. Almost feels, you know what it almost feels like? like an episode of Law and Order.
Hey, don't come from my live. This is not like...
No, but like Law and Order, American Southwest edition. You know, it's like a cowboy twang. Like, I can't do it. Fuck it. Yeah. So, the funny thing too, that maybe this movie felt so made for TV. I mean, it makes sense. The guy who directed it, Rob Lieberman, who just recently passed in 2023, this guy was like a prolific television director. And he directed everything from like the original ABC after school specials to like 30-something. Remember that show that we probably weren't allowed to watch in the 80s as our parents watched it? He even directed the X-Files and episodes of the X-Files and Dexter. He didn't do he did more TV than film, which isn't a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah.
It definitely has like a television vibe.
It's giving television. It's giving Hallmark.
A little bit. Yeah. You know what else this guy directed?
Tell me.
D3, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, hell yeah. He directed a Mighty Ducks movie?
Yeah, right after this.
He directed the film to make it a trilogy?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even remember what happens in the third one. Do they go to like Japan or like space or something?
Well, the first one was just like basic. Was the second one the Olympics?
Maybe.
Or
I think so.
Third.
Fuck was the third one?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Was
drop it in the yes, he was in all of them, right? Drop it in the DMs. Somebody out there knows.
It's going to be in the season. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I think about the Mighty Ducks a lot. And I'm like, how is this movie PG? Like the opening scene is him getting a Dewey.
Quack, quack, quack. I know.
My mother had to explain to me what that was. And I was like, what's that mean? DWI. Really? Well, I mean, I think it was like 6 or 7 when the movie came out. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So this movie has a great cast as well, too. Like it's not just DB Sweeney and the T-1000 in this movie, and of course James Garner. There's
but we got to talk about Robert real quick though, because like he was baby.
Oh yeah.
He was baby. I was like, I kept looking at him like, oh, you're not just old. I feel like I don't know him as like.
Do you know his brother is the singer of Filter?
That's so
do you remember the band Filter?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I used to love Filter. I actually his brother is like the only constant in Filter. Everybody's like a hired gun. And I was at a wedding once and the person sitting at the table was the new it was the oh shit. Yeah. But the one other couple that was at the table with us was the like current drummer of Filter. And he was like young kid kind of guy. And he was like, I was like, I grew up on Filter. He's like, I wasn't born yet. I'm like, damn, fucking. Anyway, whatever. Godspeed. They're a good band. I like Filter. And I think I've heard Robert Patrick's an awesome dude. So Henry Thomas is in this movie. Fucking E.T.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like that dude does not age. I just saw a picture of him recently. I'm like, he looks the same. I got excited. And Peter Berg, who's like, he looks like Ethan Hawke's twin. He's also in it. Except he wears that really silly, like, sombrero. Like, I don't even know what the hell you consider the hat. It's not a sombrero. It's not a fedora.
No, but he has it on every single scene. I feel like he has the hat.
And I feel like that was Peter Berg's idea because he's like very method. And he also, he's also a director. He directed Very Bad Things. Yeah. Oh, and fucking last but not least, Craig Sheffer from Nightbreed is in this.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like the manager called up and is like, I got a script for you.
Yeah, we're gonna take all you dark horse young people.
But no one even knew who they were probably
biopic.
At that point, right? I mean, they were young.
Yeah, I mean, they were like
early career.
Early career for sure. Yeah. This was after Terminator 2, though.
Was it?
Yeah, and that was like the highest grossing film of all time at that point. So you got like...
Well, it depends. You never know which filmed first.
True.
Which shot first, you know?
Yeah, this is definitely and this was like a major studio movie too. This was like a Paramount film. So
this was?
Yeah. This was a studio film. And that ship, man, that whole ship sequence. I wonder how big that set was, because that looked like that was like
practical.
Yeah.
At that point in time.
And he's like flying around that fucking holding bay, whatever that is.
Because, okay, when I was watching that scene and he was like climbing, I kept thinking, I'm like, ooh, how did we shoot this? I kept thinking that. Because he truly looked like he was floating.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was actually climbing up a wall, because that would take effort. But yeah.
I mean, they were all like you were saying, they were young and agile and...
He's just like...
I bet, you know what? And I'm sure someone out there worked on this movie, or their family member worked on this movie, or they just know. Was it like that? Did they do it kind of like Elm Street style, where they like built the room upside down? And
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Was that like forced perspective? I don't know. If
that's what I was thinking. But then I don't know. It's even the way his feet were moving. He would have to hold his legs like so straight.
Yeah. But whatever, it was cool. It's still a pretty cool scene.
It was the best 5 minutes of that movie I saw.
The aliens look so... Here's the thing, the aliens look so pissed in this movie. They're like so...
They were pissed the fuck off. Especially when he kicked him. He was like... What the fuck you doing?
I know. The real Travis Walton, he didn't kick them, but he does say that he was like swinging a tray at one of them, and they just kind of like were like, they left him alone. They're like, let's just leave him alone. Like, they didn't get scared. They just left him. And
my favorite part though was that they were wearing masks over the real face to make them look like gray aliens, and then it was like almost kind of like fleshy, but like what a human looks like when they're dead, like just like colorless, like that like lifeless color. I guess gray.
Right.
I'm such an idiot.
No.
But I liked how they were wearing a mask on top of their faces, but it kind of still looked similar to what they look like.
Well, I'll say this again and again, that I think that Whitley Strieber's Communion, it would make for a great double feature with this. It's a much scarier, creepier film. And Whitley Strieber, he's a horror author. He wrote Wolfen and Shadowland.
Wolfen.
Yeah, my favorite. Unironically love Wolfen. But Communion is based on his real experience being abducted by aliens, and he was the one who was like haunted for years by what they did. Like, he was like sexually assaulted by an alien. That's what he says, like that. He was damaged as like physically and emotionally from his experience, and the movie is scarier in a just like uncanny valley kind of way. Like, you don't see as graphic of a sequence as you do with Fire in the Sky, but Whitley Strieber's real life experience was way more graphic than Fire in the Sky, like what Walton experienced, at least allegedly.
Yeah,
always allegedly.
Why do you think the movie erased the human-looking beings from Walton's account and made them more like...
I think because of what was shaping in the collective zeitgeist around like alien culture, in pop culture, because that it didn't fit the image that was popular in design and television shows. Like what did you have before this? You had that Fox TV show Alien Nation. You had Well, Communion existed already. You had the television show Sightings, also on Fox,
Right.
which I was obsessed with. I still am.
We know.
I love the show Sightings. All the episodes are up on YouTube. If nobody, you younger generations, you need to find the show.
Do you think the movie replaced the real abduction public memory? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think like the public, because the film was made and it's such a one-for-one account, except for the ending,
right.
Like, do you think that has replaced what everyone remembers to be true of like...
Yes. Yeah. To answer your question, like, yeah. And I think that's why he got upset, why he got frustrated. I don't want to say he was upset. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know that he did not like the film. He was like really pissed off about the film to the point where he did re-release his book as Fire in the Sky. And he added like an addendum to it about like his thoughts on it. So yeah, I think that like what we saw in the movie is the more public facing narrative of the story, although it's not true. Like it's not the factual account, because I do believe Travis. I do believe that this happened.
Yeah, I believe it happened. I think, that the Southwest.
Big sky country, right?
Yeah, lots of alien stuff. But
I'm probably gonna get yelled at through the DMs. I think big sky country is like Montana.
I think you're right. But yeah, I think aliens are real, and why wouldn't this account be real if that many people witnessed it?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's connect this thing properly then, shall we? Because Fire in the Sky isn't just a movie based on a UFO story. It's a pressure point. It sits right where personal trauma, small town paranoia, Hollywood storytelling, and American UFO mythology all collide. First connection, Travis Walton in the town of Snowflake, Heber Overgard. This wasn't Phoenix. This wasn't LA. This was a tight, religious, working class community where reputation was everything. When Travis disappeared, the town didn't just panic, it fractured. People didn't ask, was he abducted? They asked, which of you did it? Who killed him?
And that matters because the fear didn't come from the aliens at first. It came from social collapse, accusations, suspicion, the idea that your neighbor, your coworker, your hunting buddy might be lying to protect a murder. So when Travis comes back claiming something impossible, it doesn't relieve the tension. It only escalates it. Now, the town isn't just dealing with loss, it's dealing with belief and disbelief. And that's the core connection. Alien abduction stories don't just test science, they test communities.
Well, the second connection, the real abduction account versus the film's abduction sequence. And we've kind of already talked a lot about this already, but, Walton's actual description, it's way more fragmentary, disorienting, it's inconsistent and clinical, right? It doesn't look like a horror movie. It looks like a trauma memory, like a recovered memory almost. It's confusing. There's the missing time, sensory overload. Hollywood didn't trust that. Especially, a major studio like Paramount. They can't do something that trippy, right? So Fire in the Sky replaces uncertainty with bodily violation. Needles, membranes, restraints, suffocations, that hose down his mouth, right? It turns an unknowable experience into something that the audience can feel. And you could feel that sequence. I know there's a part where like a scalpel like clatters on the table, and and there's like a little bit of blood, like a tiny, tiny little bit of blood. That that still gives me the chills, right? Here's the uncomfortable truth about all of that, though. The movie may be less accurate, but like you were saying earlier, it's the public-facing memory, right? It's emotionally truer to what terror may feel like. We're at least allowed to experience the terror that he might have felt, even though they're two drastically different scenes.
Right. Right, because trauma doesn't present cleanly. And when you look at the film through that lens, it's not about aliens, it's about helplessness, which connects directly to how alien abductions explode in pop culture during the 90s. Shows like Sightings, your favorite, didn't mock witnesses. They validated them. They framed abductees as ordinary people whose lives were disrupted by something beyond their control and ultimately changed forever. And that's not accidental. That's post-Vietnam America, post-Watergate, post-trust, a culture primed to believe that powerful forces operate without explanation and without permission. And I think that really ties into the current state of the world.
Oh, 100%. Like, we're going through a major paradigm shift.
Yeah.
We've gone through them before at that time, like you just were saying, like post-Watergate era, right? Like before that, that's the era of our parents and grandparents. Well, maybe not our parents trusting the government, but our grandparents certainly did. Oh, the government could do no wrong. The government's out for our best interest, that silent generation, right? Yeah, third connection, polygraphs, proof, and illusion of closure. So the Walton crew passing lie detector test is constantly cited. It's cited by the believers and the skeptics. But polygraphs don't prove truth, as we previously stated earlier in this episode. They prove consistency under stress. And that's the real connective tissue here. Whether Travis was abducted or not, his story never changed in any meaningful way. The cost of that consistency? Public ridicule. Career derailment, at least for the time. Lifetime association with a moment he can't escape. Which loops us back to our central question. Quietly but relentlessly, if this was a lie, why keep paying for it?
And let's zoom out, because the story doesn't end in 1975 or 1993. Travis Walton still appears at events like Contact in the Desert, a modern evolution of Sightings era. These conferences aren't just about aliens. They're about community for the unbelievable. They give language, structure, and legitimacy to experiences that don't fit clean categories. That's a huge shift from how Walton was treated in the 70s, when belief meant exile. So the connection here is cultural. What once isolated people now gathers them.
Which brings us to the final uncomfortable connection. Us. Why does Fire in the Sky still hit so hard? Why does this case still circulate? Why do people who don't believe in aliens still feel shaken by it? Because the story isn't really asking whether UFOs are real. It's asking something worse. What happens when someone tells the truth as they understand it, and the world decides that truth is unacceptable?
Exactly. Whether Travis Walton was taken by something in the sky, something in his mind, or something we don't have words yet for, the aftermath is the same. Loss of control, loss of certainty, loss of normal life. And that's the real connection between the case and the film. Fire in the Sky isn't about aliens coming to Earth. It's about what happens after you come back.
And maybe that's why the story never goes away. Because believing is terrifying, disbelieving is terrifying, and certainty, like real certainty, never arrives. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the following. Shows like Sightings helped push the UFO narrative in the mainstream TV in the 90s. They, blended interviews, respected witnesses, as you said, dramatized some of the segments documentary style and made the unexplained feel, seriously considered by everyday audiences. I think that show ran in prime time. I think it had a nice primetime slot. I want to say it was on like Thursday nights. The effect of Sightings and other programs was to normalize UFO discourse. It's not just fringe talk anymore, but something you'd see on television between sports and the news. That undoubtedly opened the cultural door for films like Fire in the Sky and later Encounters, The Hidden Truth, and Missing, 411. Today, conventions like Contact in the Desert, arguably the largest UFO UAP conference in the world, feature panels and speakers, research, and community for believers and skeptics alike. They welcome the discourse. Travis, well, like I was saying earlier, Travis himself has been a featured speaker at past events, and he continues to defend his account to new generations of curious minds. These conferences mix testimony, investigation, and speculation, giving structure to a community that might otherwise feel isolated when talking about things no one can explain. But, I do want to mention, I got to tailor something in here. Now, in that documentary, Travis, the true story of Travis Walton, Walton talks about the concept of full disclosure. The government coming out and saying, well, aliens are real. They're coming or they're already here, right? But Walton says, and it's powerful hearing it in his words, why full disclosure is yet to happen. And I'm going to paraphrase him here. This is not a direct quote, but one of the things was that he said it would literally upend humanity. People wouldn't go into work the next day. People would view themselves as earthlings, all of a sudden earthlings and not citizens of specific countries. And, again, the paraphrase, governments would lose power. Religion itself would possibly be nullified.
I agree. And I do believe that. I think religion, this is controversial, this is going to be a hot take. Religion gives people hope and meaning. Because without that, I think it'd be difficult to understand what is the meaning of life. And you go somewhere afterwards, right? Most religions believe in some sort of afterlife or reincarnation. But what happens when there's something else out there? Because are they one of God's creatures? So not going too full into religion, but I think, it would really upend the world as we know it. And I think, like I said, how President Obama was on the podcast talking about how aliens are real. And all these things keep coming out. I feel like every year, I know sometimes folks are like, oh, it's distraction from what's really going on in the world. But I think they're breadcrumb trailing us just in case something happens. I think that they think something's going to happen where it's going to be revealed that there is something bigger, and they're kind of slowly tempering the eggs, and slowly feeding it to us so it's a little bit more believable and a little more digestible.
Sure. It's just like how every villain in 80s movies were villains who could have potentially wiped us off the map.
Yeah.
As humanity off the map, in 80s action movies like Russia, was it the Soviet Union, right? This is Cold War. No, I 100% believe you. It's a psyop, right? It's a psyop tied in CIA and Hollywood. Let's give him a little more. Give him a little more.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I truly believe that. And
I'm ready. How about last year with these fucking drones? The drones that were everywhere.
Oh, I saw one above LA.
Me too. Well, not above LA, but I saw one above Poughkeepsie.
was like, wow, you have good eyesight.
No, it was fucking weird.
No, but it was weird and it was uneasy. I mean, the way it was moving, I was like, I don't like the looks of that. And then, you know, you think like, well, is it a government thing? Or is it like some sort of like tech company with like some crazy surveillance? And with everything going on in the world right now, I would be like shocked if that was what it is. But yeah. And then, well, wasn't it like 2 or 3 years ago? I lose track of the past 6 years during pandemic. But
yeah,
what was the thing where it was like the alien in the like little body and it was like in court and they showed it? Was that real?
I don't think I thought you were going to talk about the little mummified thing that they found. That thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't it found in Mexico or something?
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. I don't know.
But it was like in an open court, right? Wasn't it like under oath?
I don't know.
Allegedly? I don't know. Someone drop comments.
Slide into our space DMs.
Please. Please. Yeah, no, I mean, I love alien shit. Me and my husband love alien stuff. Peter's really into X-Files.
I love X-Files too.
Yeah. So, we're into it.
I'm very excited that Ryan Coogler is bringing the X-Files back.
Right.
I can't wait for that. And apparently Gillian Anderson's going to be in it. He was on last.
Yeah.
He was on last.
Have her in it?
Yeah, he was on last podcast on the left about a year ago, and he was promoting Sinners, and he was like, "Well, I can't say," and then they got it out of him. Like, yeah,
he's coming.
Yeah, Gillian Anderson is she's making a comeback. She's going to be in the new Jane Schoenbrunn movie too.
Well, she was in the movie Sex Education. Great show. It was a really good show.
I didn't see that.
Show. Yeah. But yeah, she's great. Love her. She looks great too. Like, good job.
David Duchovny. I wonder if he's going to come back. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It'll be good. Coogler's doing it.
We're fans.
Yes.
Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, man. You seem pretty chill.
To our podcast, we're fans.
Yeah. Come on our show. Let's chat about movies.
Let's chat about aliens.
Totally. Please, let us write an episode of the newest season of the X-Files.
So, Fire in the Sky isn't just a movie. It's a story about a real night in a small Arizona forest, a disappearance that sparked national attention, and a community that was wildly divided, and a man who stuck to his memories despite ridicule and skepticism.
And whether you think Travis Walton was taken by aliens, misunderstood natural phenomena, trauma, or something we still can't explain, the fear is not in the sighting. It's in the uncertainty. You can't prove it one way. You can't disprove it entirely. And that's what keeps the story alive.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us for our season 2 premiere. Please subscribe, rate, leave us comments, hop in the DMs. Send us things that you want to see or hear, because we honestly just like hearing from y'all.
Yeah, totally. Oh shit! I do want to say one last thing.
Okay,
there is an X-Files museum apparently in the town of Saratoga Springs, New York. So it's like an hour north of me. I know. Apparently they have the Fluke Man costume from season 2, from that episode, The Host. Mm-hmm. That's pretty sick. But yeah, so we're happy to be back. Thank you. Remember, everybody, the scariest stories aren't always the ones with monsters. Sometimes they're the ones that make you question everything you thought you understood. You've been listening to The Fear Archive, hosted by Amanda Kagawata and Michael Ryan Asap, produced by Cassie Josepho, with original music by Umberto. This podcast is a production of Violet Hour Media.